The Twelfth Night, Act 1, and second part of Scene 5, because Scene 5 is very long, it has got 300 lines. Yesterday we had studied the first 100 lines, now let us complete the rest. Olivia was speaking to the clown and she was complaining to him that he is a boring person, to which the clown answers, "Thou hast spoke for us, Madonna, as if the eldest son should be a fool, whose skull jaw crammed with brains, for here comes one of thy kin, has a most weak pia. So he says, "Ma'am, you are declaring me mad. It is not so. The skull of my head is not weak, means I am a man of sound personality, and I cannot be a fool." Olivia, by mine honor. So yes, in between this enter Sir Toby. So Olivia speaks about Sir Toby. "By mine honor, half drunk, what is he at the gate, cousin?" Sir Toby, "A gentleman." Olivia, "A gentleman? What gentleman?" Sir Toby, "It's a gentleman here. A plague of these 100 pickle herring," means he is drunk and so he cannot speak more. "How now, shot?" This word is for the clown, feste. So clown speaks, "Good Sir Toby." Olivia, cousin, "How have you come so early by this lethargy?" Lethargy is lack of activity. He is feeling lazy, lousy. So Sir Toby, "Lechery. I defy lechery." This is, as I told you, that the Elizabethan audience was great fan of pun upon the words. So Olivia is speaking lethargy and Sir Toby thinks it is lechery. So he says, "No ma'am, I hate lechery. There is one at the gate." Means there is one lechery, one problem that is at the gate. Olivia, "I marry, what is he?" Means who is there? Sir Toby, "Let him be the devil and he will. I care not. Give me faith, say I. Well, it is all one." Means it doesn't make a difference to me who is the person at the gate. Olivia, "What is a drunken man like, fool?" The clown speaks, "Like a drowned man, a fool, and a madman." So in this speech, the clown gives three categories of drunken people. One is if he has drunken moderately, then he is a fool, and if he has drunken too much, he is a madman, and if he has drunken lot of wine, then he is a drowned man. So Olivia speech, "Go thou and seek the crowner." So crowner is the word used for Sir Toby, "and let him sit, oh my cousin, for he is in the third degree of drink, he is drowned, go look after him." So Olivia instructs Feste to look after her cousin, who is Sir Toby, clown. "He is but mad yet, Madonna, and the fool shall look the madman." So he says, "I am fool and I will look the madman, because he is not yet drowned. He has drunken wine, but he is not that much drowned. He is somewhat sober." Re-enter Malvolio. Malvolio, "Madam, yond young fellow swears he will speak with you. I told you were sick. He takes on him to understand so much and therefore comes to speak with you. I told you were asleep, but he does not follow." So Malvolio brings in the news of the messenger coming. Olivia gets the message that there is one Cesario who comes with a message from Orsino, and we know that Cesario is nobody, but it is Voila who is in the disguise of a eunuch. Olivia, "Tell him he shall not speak with me. Malvolio. Malvolio says that yes, he has been told that ma'am is not going to meet him, but he is still adamant and he is firm to meet you. Olivia. What kind of man is he? Malvolio. Why of mankind? So look at Olivia is inquiring, what is the nature of the man? And Malvolio says he is from the mankind. So look at the fun. Olivia, what manner of man? So now she asks the question again, what type of man? Now again, Malvolio would not give the answer which Olivia is asking, of very ill manner. So now he is talking about the manners of Cesario, who has come as a messenger of the Duke. He will speak with you, will you or no? Means if you want or not want, but he will have a meeting with you. Olivia, of what personage and years is he? So Olivia asks, okay, tell me about his personality and how old he is. So in this following speech of Malvolio, which I am not reading, but I am just telling you that Malvolio describes the body of Cesario and about his age, and all that he means to say is that he is very young and tender. He is not yet a full grown man, but at the same time he is not a boy also. So he is at the threshold of manhood and all that. Olivia, let him approach. Call in my gentlewoman. So Olivia gives permission to Malvolio to let that gentleman, Cesario come. Malvolio, gentlewoman, my lady calls. Re-enter Maria. Olivia, give me my veil. Come, throw it over my face. We will once more hear Orsino's embassy. So Olivia tells Maria that she is going to meet the envoy of Orsino. Enter Voila and attendants. Voila, the honorable lady of the house, which is she. Olivia, speak to me. I shall answer for her. Your will. I pray you, tell me if this be the lady of the house, for I never saw her. I would be loath to cast away my speech. For besides, that is excellently well penned. I have taken great pains to con it. Good beauties, let me sustain no scorn. I am very comfortable even to the least sinister uses. So Voila, disguised as Cesario, speaks to Olivia, and she says, you are very exquisite, very beautiful. Voila praise the beauty of Olivia, and also says that lady, I have written my speech for you because I am not speaking the feelings of my heart, but I am speaking on behalf of my master, because I come here as a messenger of my master, and therefore please do not have any disregard, any hatred for me, because I am very sensitive if you show any feelings of hatred for me. Olivia, whence came you, sir? Voila, I can say little more than I have studied, and that questions out of my part. Good gentleman, give me modest assurance, if you be the lady of the house, that I may proceed in my speech. So Voila wants to make sure that, are you Olivia? Olivia, are you a comedian? Voila, no, my profound heart, and yet be the very fangs of malice, I swear, I am not that play. I am not that I play. So Olivia here gives us hint that she is a messenger here, but she is not a eunuch, and she is somewhat different person. So this is a hint to us, but probably Voila does not understand. Olivia does not understand it. Olivia, If I do not usurp myself, I am. Olivia assures him that she herself is Olivia. Voila. Most certainly, if you are she, you do usurp yourself. For what is yours to bestow is not yours to reserve. So these lines mean that Olivia is usurping herself, means she is forcing herself to be what she is not, because she is a youthful lady and she must love a gentleman, and she must give her love as a gift to someone, but she is keeping it reserved, so she is usurping herself. But this is from my commission. I will on with my speech in your praise, and then show you the heart of my message. Heart means the central part of my message. Olivia, come to what is important in it. I forgive you the praise. Voila. Alas, I took great pains to study it, and it is poetical. Olivia, it is the more like to be feigned. Feigned means unreal, means whatever you say that Duke Orsino loves me, etc., that is not real. I pray you keep it in. I heard you were saucy at my gate, means you were quarrelsome at my gate, and allowed your approach, rather to wonder at you than to hear you. So you behaved in a very strange manner, which a messenger should not behave. If you be not mad, be gone. So if you are sensible, please go away from here. If you have reason to be brief means precise, means few words, if you can say, and then get lost from here. It is not that time of moon with me to make one in so skipping a dialogue. So she says, I don't want to hear this humbug from you, please go away. Maria, will you hoist sail, sir? Here lies your way. So Maria asks him to leave again. Voila, no good swabber, because Maria has used the imagery of sailing. So Cesario again calls her a swabber, means a cleaner of the sail. I am to hull here, means stay here a little longer. Some mollification for your giant sweet lady, means I want to pacify your lady, that is Olivia. Tell me your mind, I am a messenger. Olivia, sure you have some hideous matter to deliver. Hideous means dirty matter to message to give to me, and I don't want to welcome your message. When the courtesy of it is so fearful, speak your office. So Olivia asks him to speak. Voila, it alone concerns your ear. I bring no overture of war, no taxation of homage. I hold the olive in my hand. My words are full of peace as matter. So he says, Madam, I want to speak to you privately. I don't want the presence of your lady, that is Maria. And moreover, I am not going to attack you. It is a matter of peace. Olivia, yet you began rudely. What are you? What would you? So Olivia is complaining of his behavior, that he began rudely, and she challenges him that what he could do. Voila. The rudeness that hath appeared in me have learned from my entertainment, means I was treated in a bad manner, so I was rude. What I am and I would be are secret to your ears divinity, means what I will speak is the sacred message, and for any other people this will be stupid or let us say profanation, means opposite of sacred means unholy. So whatever I want to speak will be holy to your ear. Olivia, give us the place alone, we will hear this divinity. So Olivia orders Maria to go away, and Maria goes away. And voila, most sweet lady, Olivia, a comfortable doctrine, and much may be said of it. Where lies your text? Olivia says, okay, concentrate on your message. So Voila says, in Orsino's bosom, means the text of my message lies in the heart of Orsino. Olivia, in his bosom? Okay, in which chapter of his bosom? Olivia, to answer by the method in the first of his heart. Olivia, I have read it. It is heresy. Heresy is something spoken against God or which is not real, which is false. So Olivia calls it false. Have you no more to say? Voila, good madam. Let me see your face. Olivia, have you any commission from your lord to negotiate with my face? You are now out of your text. But we will draw the curtain and show you the picture. Look you, sir, such a one was this present. Is it not well done? So, Olivia does not remove her veil, पर्दा नहीं हटाती है, but she shows, she draws a curtain from a picture, which is her picture, and the picture is shown to Voila. Excellently done, if God did all. So, Voila praises the picture. Olivia, it is in grain means fast colors. It will endure wind and weather. Voila, its beauty truly blent, means mixed, whose red and white nature's own sweet and cunning hand laid on. Lady, you are the cruelest she alive. If you will lead these graces to grave and leave the world on copy. So, you have such a wonderful beauty, but you don't love anyone. So these graces of your youth will go waste, and you will leave this copy, means this portrait of yourself which is so beautiful. So you are a very cruel lady. Olivia, oh sir, I will not be so hard-hearted. I will give out diverse schedules of my beauty. It shall be inventoried and every particle and utensil labeled to my will. Now this is again in humor. Olivia says that she will get a list of her body parts mentioned. Say this is her eye, this is her ear, and this is her mouth, and all that, and this is the color of this, and how beautiful it is, like that. Voila. I see you what you are. You are too proud. But if you were the devil, you are fair. Millard and master loves you. Oh, such love could be but recompensed through, though you were crowned the non-peril of beauty. Non-peril means matchless. You are matchless beauty, but I want you to reward my master by replying his love. Olivia, how does he love me? Voila, with adorations, fertile tears, with groans that thunder love, with sighs of fire, means with all his passion he loves you. Olivia, your Lord does know my mind, I cannot love him. Yet I suppose him virtuous, know him noble, of great estate, of fresh and stainless youth, in voices well divulged, free, learned, and valiant, and in dimension and in the shape of nature, a gracious person, but yet I cannot love him. He might have took the answer long ago. So, Olivia praises all the qualities of Orsino, and she says she is a very good gentleman, full of virtue and youth and all that, but I don't and I can't love him. Voila. If I did love you in my master's flame, with such a suffering, such a deadly life, in your denial I would find no sense, I would not understand it. So he says, if I had loved you with the intensity of feelings which my master does you, then I would not care for your refusal to love me, but I would behave in a different manner. Olivia, why? What would you do? So Olivia asks him what he could do. Voila, make me a willow cabin at your gate and call upon my soul within the house while write loyal cantions and contempt love, and sing them loud even in the death of night. Hola your name to the reverberate hills, and make the babbling gossip of the air cry out, Olivia, oh, you should not rest between the elements of air and earth, but you should pity me. So, Voila says that he would make a cabin at her gate, at the gate of Olivia, and then all the time he would write songs of love and praise of love, of his rejected love, and then he would cry the name of Olivia and make such a loud noise saying her name that the hills will echo the name of Olivia, and she will not be able to take rest until she replies his love. Olivia, you might do much. What is your parentage? So Olivia now is distracted. The point is to be understood. She is asking the parentage of Olivia, who is in the disguise of Cesario. Voila. Above my fortunes, yet my state is well, I am a gentleman. She says, I look a messenger, but my parentage is much above. And in short, I am a gentleman. Olivia, get you to your lord, I cannot love him, let him send no more. Unless perchance you come to me again to tell me how he takes it, fare you well, I thank you for your pains, spend this for me. So Olivia tells him that she cannot love his master, and tell him that she will never love him, and she gives some money she offers some money to Voila as Cesario, but Voila, I am no feed post lady, keep your purse, my master, not myself, lacks recompense. So Voila refuses to take the money offered by Olivia because she says, I'm not that type of messenger who takes fees. My master is not rewarded, so why should I take fees from you? Love makes his heart of flint that you shall love, and let your fervor like my master's be placed in contempt. Farewell, fair cruelty. So Voila curses Olivia that, okay, lady, the man you love should be as hard of heart as you are to my master, and the man you love should disregard your feelings as you disregard my master's feelings. So farewell you are beautiful lady, but you are a cruel lady. Olivia, what is your parentage? Above my fortunes, yet my state is well, I am a gentleman. I will be sworn thou art, thy tongue, thy face, thy limbs, actions and spirit do give the fivefold blazon, not too fast, soft. So Olivia wonders on the speech and the answer given by Voila, and that was, what is your parentage? And then Voila says, above my fortunes, yet my state is well, I am a gentleman. So she considers this, that okay, this gentleman Voila as a Cesario is very, she's attracted. Olivia feels attracted to this gentleman, and I think it is love at first sight. And so she says, you have so many coat of arms, means you are like a duke or like a king, and these qualities are your tongue, your face, your limbs, your actions and spirit, and that your appeal is very soft, it's very gentle. So I think Olivia feels that she is in love with Cesario. Unless the master were the man, how now even so quickly may one catch the plague? So she says, okay, rather than the suit of his master Orsino, he had brought the suit of himself, she would have loved him. And she says, oh, but I wonder how this disease of love could catch me. That is, Olivia feels love for Cesario, who is disguised. Methinks I feel this youth's perfections with an invisible and subtle stealth to creep in at mine eyes. Well, let it be What ho, Malvolio. So the lady is captivated by the personality and by the manner in which he talks to him. Malvolio. Here, madam, at your service. Olivia. Run after the same peevish messenger, the country's man. He left this ring behind him. Would I or not tell him? I will none of it. So Olivia asks Malvolio to run after Cesario because he had left a ring there which she would not take. Desire him not to flatter with his lord, not hold him up with hopes. I am not for him. If that the youth will come this way tomorrow, I will give him reasons for it. High thee for Malvolio. So the state is such that Olivia is deeply in love with Cesario, and so she thinks a trick, and she gives a ring, which I don't think Cesario has left behind forcefully, but she makes him run and ask Malvolio to bring back Cesario so that she might talk to him more. She could have more discussions, chats, parleys with him. Malvolio, madam, I will. Olivia, I do not know what, and fear to find mine eyes too great a flatterer for my mind. Fate show the force ourselves we do not know. Oh, what is decreed must be, and be this so. So Olivia submits to her fate. Now she was against love, but now she feels love for Viola, who is disguised as Cesario, and she says, okay, this is my luck, this is my fate, and I must submit, I must surrender to my fate, because we cannot be the masters of our fate. So what destiny has decided for us must be, and so I submit to my destiny and I am in love. This is what Olivia says. Thank you.